hypocrisy and the double standard of the Western media, that if they actually cared about the Gazans and they actually cared about the Palestinians, and not just when there was an opportunity to blame Israel for it, people would have been paying attention to this. We're a very,
but you say the Western media. I always experienced the Western media as being very pro-Israel, very pro-Israel.
Okay, this is that. Let's just say the liberals, the leftist, more the leftist liberal people like Kim Iverson, people like Roger Waters, people like Katie Halpert, people like these people who are in support of ostensibly the Palestinians.
Okay,
they don't do anything about this. They don't on any of this.
I agree. They only wake up when Israel starts bombing. I agree. Mostly they only wake up. Israel is bombing. Let's show our moral outrage now.
Right. Okay. So to me, this is like what a lot of the messages I've been trying to, like when I send you on WhatsApp, that there's a tremendous moral double standard in the world. Again, none of this has nothing to do with condoning or excusing killing civilians. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how we got here. How did we get to a place that now Israel's in a state where the only way that we feel that we can go forward is by this mass carnage and all of these dead people, and which again is a tragedy. It's a tragedy that's awful. And I'm sure you saw today or yesterday the tens of thousands of people. Have you ever seen literally in the history of warfare? In the history of warfare, has there ever been a time that the enemy army is protecting the quote unquote enemy from leaving the war zone from their own army? You know what I mean? And that's exactly what's happening. They opened up a humanitarian corridor to go down to the south, and it's guarded by Israeli tanks so that the Gazans can go south and not be stopped by Hamas. It's crazy. It's a crazy world.
It's not exactly the same, but during the American Civil War, that's the only conflict I consider myself to be an expert on. All those books are about the American Civil War.
Oh, very interesting.
I think the Union often made efforts to.
Okay, well, I agree, because those were brothers. Those were people. They were brothers and cousins. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, fine. Not the entire history of warfare.
Yeah. That's the only thing I really know a lot about.
Right. Okay. Good. That's good. Good to know. Good to know. But I just this one point that, if there would be thousands and thousands of Israelis dying and every day a few hundred people were being killed by rockets, I think that people would have a different attitude to what's going on. Except that.
So sorry to interrupt you. Like I've also questioned myself. Like I accept that 1,300, 1,400. The numbers keep changing. Died on the Israeli side, and then I do notice in myself like a little bit less outrage, and I question that. Like, William, why do you sympathize more with the Palestinian side? And I really try to understand this. And I come up with some answers, like for example, the story of the 40 beheaded babies. I think it's fake, and then I get angry. Like, it's already bad. Why does Israel need to like throw oil on the fire and come up with this bogus story? I don't believe it. I don't believe there were 40 beheaded babies.
Right. Nobody said it was 40. There was one newscaster that said they.
They kept repeating it.
They said 40 babies, some beheaded. That's what they said.
But then it gets picked up and it's everywhere, and I get angry. Like, Israel is lying again. My perception of Israel
nobody from the official Israeli anybody said that. There was a newscast. People on social media.
Sorry, but the official Twitter account of Israel, they repeated it.
No, they didn't say 40. You have to show that to me.
I will find it. They equaled Hamas to ISIS, which to me is such bullshit. It's not the same. Why make this comparison? It's not the same.
I don't see it so different. People who film themselves butchering and massacring and torturing people in order for the shock value, that's what.
But they are not the same. These are two separate groups. If you let them meet, they will probably murder each other because they probably can't stand each other. So then to say like Hamas equals ISIS, to me, it's ridiculous. It's childish almost.
Well, I think morally, I don't think people are trying to say it's the same organization. People are saying,
but that's how it comes across. That's really how it comes across.
I think the moral comparison.
And then liberals or however you want to call them, they react and they say, oh no, Israel played the air force of ISIS in all those years, and now they are claiming that Hamas is the same as ISIS. Like they many liberals see Israel somehow as an ally of ISIS. That's how bad Israel is viewed. And I'm trying to explain to you how it's possible that Israel is viewed so negatively.
I understand that they have a very
This morning, sorry that I talk so much.
No, go ahead.
This morning I see a video with some guy, Dan Colvin. I didn't know him. He's apparently an American Jew who he visited Gaza, and he talks a lot about it. He seems to know a lot. And he talks about some kind of Telegram channel where you can constantly watch dead Palestinians. I think it's called Dead Terrorists, but they are usually civilians, and Israelis cheer this on. Yeah, and they have a lot of followers. And then I think, my God, what's wrong with this country? Why do they do that? They are apparently calling them hot dogs when they see burned Palestinian children. I mean, why do
that's
something
disgusting
like that?
And awful. And I'm saying, like you showed me also, I think it was you who showed me the people on TikTok playing dead as Palestinians. That's disgusting.
Why do that?
That's okay. That you have extremist and crazy people and fringe people in every society.
But they don't see the issue is that they don't seem to be so fringe. That's my problem. If these would be 5 idiots, but they seem to be a substantial number of people.
Even if it's a few thousand people out of 8 million people,
it's more than that. Dan Cohen, and he seemed to be quite credible. He said 2% is his estimate.
Mm-hmm. I don't
that's
know.
A lot. 2% is a lot.
That's reprehensible and not something that either I or the official Israeli government or anybody like that supports. Like one of the things that you mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned or somebody else, in 1994, that Baruch Goldstein, right? The 1994 in Hebron, you know what I'm talking about? That a Jewish priest.
I think I didn't tell you that. I didn't.
Okay, so I was with somebody else that I was back and forth with on Twitter. So what happened was, you know what I'm talking about, though. I'm saying, you know what took place.
He went and shot a lot of people.
Yeah, he went crazy. In
I was there. They told me about this.
Yeah,
I was a few hundred meters away from where it happened.
Wow. So in 1994, in we say Hebron and Hebron, so he was a doctor who had treated many victims of terror and all of these things, and they say he snapped, and I don't know, and that he took his machine gun and killed 30, 40 Muslims, injured more, and there are people here who made his grave into like a shrine, and they respect it. But that's like a fringe group. There's no streets named after him in Israel. There's no park named after Baruch Goldstein for doing what he did. From our perspective, and maybe you'll tell me I'm wrong about this, but in the territories in the West Bank and in Gaza, these people are lionized. The people that commit atrocities and terror attacks against the Jewish people, the Israelis over here, these are people who have streets named after them. They're people who have parks named after them. They're people who the children are taught to look up to them and to see them as martyrs and see them as heroes.
I would agree to that. Yeah.
Right. So
I don't. It's been a long time since I've been there. 2009. I think I remember seeing posters of dead militants, and they were kind of glorified.
Yeah, there's no question that the society on the whole over here is not like what you are describing. Again, what percentages? I don't know, 2%.
But you understand that this is what's coming out.
It's terrible. Yes, it's terrible.
You can tell me that I'm in some kind of echo chamber where I constantly see negative things about Israel, but I don't look for those things. They just keep being offered to me. Maybe it's my algorithm. I don't know. But it's there, and it affects me, and of course it influences the way I view Israel, and not just me.
Of course.
And then 1,400 Israelis get killed, and the reaction is then I accept that there are 10,000 Palestinian dead, and then I notice that I kind of understand why Hamas killed 1,400, and I don't understand why they killed 10,000. Maybe it's wrong. Probably it is kind of wrong. But I'm trying to understand it, and I'm trying to communicate it to you.
I absolutely hear what you're saying, and I think, unfortunately, you're representative of probably tens of millions of people in the world that see